recording. There we are. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good.
And everyone here all right and see everything okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Cliff is going to be on here in about 5 minutes, everyone. Dean's with us now.
Hi, Dean. Hey,
Hi,
Dean.
Dean.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Dean.
Hello. Is that you, Lynn?
It's me. Yep. How are you?
Ah, there you are. I'm well, thank you. I'm healthy and safe. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Are
Sorry,
you
I set up
likewise healthy and safe?
Hello.
Good. Who else? It's stormy here. Isn't it?
Hello, Dean.
Hi.
It's Laura.
There we go. Hi, Lara.
Hello, Dean. It's Kathleen. I don't know why it's not showing my.
There you go. I see your photo up. Hi, Kathleen. Nice to see you.
Not me. Oh, good Lord. Hello.
Hello.
How-
Hello, Cliff.
You know what? We're all looking the way we look. Look at this hair.
I don't know why it's showing my.
Yeah, don't worry. If your picture pops up and you're not ready, neither am I.
Well, no, mine's showing my profile picture for some reason. That's
It's showing your best side. Is that what it is?
yeah.
You have to start your video in the bottom on the toolbar at the bottom.
Thank you, Lynn. I wouldn't know how to do these things. either.
Oh.
There,
Oh, there it is. Oh,
There
I
it-
did not know that. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
I
Hello,
did.
boys and girls.
Yay!
Hello, Cliff.
Blame it on this.
Hey,
Dean,
there's Kathleen. Hey, Cliff.
There he
Hello.
is.
Good. How you all doing? Good to see you all.
Hello.
Hello, Cliff.
Cliff.
Hi, hi. Nice, man. Awesome. How many people we have on here? Do we know?
Want us to count off?
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to. Do we have
Hello.
I'm recognizing names. Cool. Hey, Michaela.
Hi,
Again,
Cliff.
good to see you.
Excellent to see you.
Oh, hey, Cliff.
Hey, how are you?
Mostly.
Nice hair.
And we
bud.
have the beautiful Laura England.
Nice haircut.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see
Look at the beard.
We're like cavemen, you know, we've been hiding. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Hello, Laura.
Hi. How are you?
Well, thank you. Are you safe and healthy?
Safe and healthy.
Good. Oh,
It's a little traumatic, but it's okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of a brain thing, isn't it?
It really is. It's something that you have to push through, right? And if we can get through this, really, I mean, there's not much that we can't get through, right? So.
For sure.
Absolutely right.
That is right.
Yeah.
That's a great perspective because that positivity is going to guide all of us.
It's true.
Yeah.
So do
Well, everyone on here, everyone that we're chatting to today, is everyone healthy? That's all we want to know.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. We are
Yes.
staying healthy.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Healthy
So
and safe.
far, so good.
Yeah, good.
and does anyone have any questions for Dean and Cliff today?
How are you?
Feel like shit.
Slowly going crazy. How are you?
Join the club.
Yes. I think we're all slowly going crazy.
Yay!
I think we've already gone crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Some of us, yes.
I think if it wasn't for the fact that my friends started doing meetups with a bunch of us
Mhm.
over like Zoom a couple of weeks ago, I think a lot of him and all of his friends would be going crazy right now because they work in the entertainment industry as behind the scenes crew.
That's what we're all doing now. We're doing so many Zoom meetings, everyone all over the world, and like with your family and all of that. So it's pretty amazing that like this is unprecedented. This has never happened to any of us within our generation before. So this is all new for us. But can you imagine when this happened, whatever, a couple of 100 years ago, and they had those pandemics and epidemics where you couldn't contact anybody or be in contact? Like, technology now is amazing. We can all stay in contact and chat with our family every day and our friends every day if we want to. So it definitely makes it easier, right?
I think probably the last major epidemic on this kind of scale was the plague, and something like 1.5 million people died.
Crazy.
So like I think it was like 25% of the world's population at that point.
Yeah.
And whoever thought it would be okay to go to a bank with a map and ask somebody for
I
money?
Oh,
I
I highlight it with mirrored sunglasses, just so that.
Yeah.
Yes, just to be perfectly safe. Yeah.
Not the,
I do have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. So first I'll start it with a statement. So since the pandemic, this thing started, my creativity level has gone down, although I still have the stuff in my head that I want to do and stuff. But my actually getting out and doing it, because for me to be creative, I have to have the ultimate space. I have to have this serene place where I'm not I'm okay to be whatever. Does that make sense? It's the serenity in my head that makes it easier for me to be creative. So my question for you is, if anything with this pandemic has stumped your creativity, what it is, how it is that you move through it, and what are you doing to push yourself? Do you know what I mean? Because for me, this is the first thing that I've done since this started. I'm not joking. I've just totally shut myself off.
You haven't been in contact with anyone since it was
Not really. I mean, I've chatted a little bit, and I've gone out and rode my motorcycle, and I've just literally shut myself off because I am in my creativity, and I'm going to start crying.
Oh, I'm glad.
I have to have people. I have to feel, and I'm dumping myself, and I've not let myself join anything. I've been invited, and I've gotten scripts, I've gotten self-tape editions, and I've just not done anything. I've just totally just like gotten to the point where I said, well, what is the friggin' point? Because but like today I've opened up the book that I stopped writing, and the ideas, I've started to at least open them up and look at them and reread them and think about pushing myself to get to that point. But what is it that you've done to push past that thing? Because for me, creativity is when I'm jailed, I don't have it.
You need to be inspired by people, kind of thing. Yeah?
Pretty much.
Well,
so today I got inspired by a friend writing on Facebook that she's failing at life. And nobody is failing at life if we're here. We're all in it, in the thick of it. And so that made me think. And that's what brought this on, and that's what made me actually, okay, I guess I have to join because I am in the thick of it. Yep. And I'm not failing, and she's not failing, and you're not failing. We're all doing it, and we're here, and we're committed. I just need that.
Well, let me tell you, I'll give you, Dean, if you don't mind, I'll answer first.
I don't mind at all.
I started like self-isolating, where we now, April, like in maybe beginning of March, even end of February. I live a pretty, I lead a pretty quiet life anyway. I don't go out a lot. I'm never with big crowds of people. My day-to-day life hasn't really changed much with what I'm doing, except for the fact I can't go down to the beach. I can't surf when I want to. I can't go to the gym. I got to train at home. So I've had to change a few things, and it did take me a couple of weeks. And talking about casting stuff, yes, the whole industry shut down, but I've been getting a lot of, which everyone is now, is open casting calls. Casting directors are just putting it out there. Send us your people. Let's have a look. Maybe we see a new face. And I'll tell you something, when I started getting that, for the first 3 weeks, I did zero. I was not prepared to. I was completely unmotivated and negative to do anything like that. And then I went back to them and I started doing them. And then I started doing Zoom meetings with my friends and family who are also, you know, like probably a lot of us are thousands of miles away. And then I also realized that this is a huge deal. Like normally people just live through history. There's very few people that do anything in life that really changes history. Like, you know, there's certain, like Einstein, whatever, guys like this who actually change history. And we've got an opportunity here, as long as we're healthy, and even if we get sick and we recover, but we're living in a generation now that's going to be spoken about for hundreds and hundreds of years. I mean, just think about it. Like, this has never happened. In hundreds of years' time, people are going to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic that shut the world down for months. We're now making history, and that makes me feel good. Once again,
me too, Cliff.
You know
Well,
that's going to make me start feeling positive. As long as we're all staying healthy and, of course, not dying. And yes, people are dying, which is very, very sad. But if we make it through, it will be a very positive thing in the long run. So just think of that. You know, that's my point of view, I think.
Yeah. I share something very similar, which is the reaching out to others, to my friends, to my family, in a very sincere way, without any of the, well, I mean, there's all those ego things and filters and maybe protections, you know. But I've tried to shed all of those things, like truly just be raw with them and honest and just straight out. And there's a creative force in that. And I saw a friend of mine who he did a TED talk about how creativity rejuvenated him after his stroke. His name is Jacques Lalonde. He's a dear friend of mine. He went into his creativity. He was in the hospital and he was thinking that he was going to die, and he was thinking the worst of the worst of the worst, and he was going downhill, and then he just stopped himself and he said no, and he thought of the play that he was going to put on when he got out of the hospital. And I'm in that same place. You know what I mean? Like, this creative thing is going to be exactly like you say, Cliff, the mark of who I am when I went through this.
Yeah.
And it's not a challenge to anyone. It's like that letting go thing, the shedding of those shields really make it easier to just really give her to share a Canadian or at least Calgarian colloquialism.
And oftentimes it seems that the hardships are the catalyst for opportunity.
Very
I think
true.
it's a good, you know, in the long run, like I say, I think it's a good thing because it's made us all realize, and I don't care who you are, but I think it's made us all realize what's important and what's not important.
Exactly.
And the important thing is your friends and your family and the environment, stuff like that. What's not important is whether Mar-a-Lago or any golf club is open, which I still don't understand. I don't play golf, but sorry guys, I don't see golf
Not
as
alone in that.
essential business. We're all told to stay home and isolate, and these guys are going out and playing golf. That irritates me.
Well,
I'm not
have you ever played golf?
One thing here, though, actually in the U.S. is the Florida governor actually said the WWE was an
Oh,
essential.
Wrestling is now essential in Florida.
Yeah, it's essential. And I was like, what?
It was essential to my childhood. You're right, but not. I can't believe now. Really?
Yeah, really.
Can you
From what I
smell
heard
what
about the
walk? Oh my God, he would be so upset, don't you think?
Michael, jump in. Jump in.
No,
I'm
just
gonna
for,
go
just for a second.
Yeah.
There's two things I heard in the last couple of days. Now, unfortunately, they come from the internet. So I can probably trust that it came from Abraham Lincoln directly. But it doesn't make any difference. There's two things I heard about the plague at the time when they had the Black Plague, that Newton was forced to stay home. He was in a seminary or whatever he was in. He was in some school somewhere. And because he was forced to stay home, he invented gravity. He figured it out. And same thing with Shakespeare apparently wrote one of his plays back in the late 1500s because he was trapped at home. So everybody gets very creative, and some of us just veg out too. I don't have any need to do too much, so I'm busy making a happier internet. I got nothing else going on.
Yeah.
But you're safe. You're healthy, Michael.
That's
How have you been doing, Michael?
I am heart boy, kidney boy, and immunosuppressant. But nope, still alive so far. And I do stick my neck out and go out there because you got to live a little bit. And even if it means death, I'm not sitting back. Screw it. But I don't take stupid chances. And I just watch and Mongo only pawn in Game of Life. Those who know Mongo. I just stick with that.
Yeah.
It's a good life, and I'm very comfortable where I am for now. And it sucks not to get up to Vancouver, but
yes,
get out later.
Good, Mike. Good, man.
Yeah.
And hi, Dean. Never got around to that.
I may find across border.
Well, one thing, Dean, that you do every day on your Facebook, you leave inspirational messages, and people can interact with you. And I don't know if you realize how much that can mean to people, because I read them almost every single day. So I want to thank you for doing that. And
you're very welcome. It's important to me. Just like, because just like those creative juices, those things that we all we're talking about, it's like I got to get it out of me, that that don't give up. Just don't give up. Please don't give up. And it doesn't matter if you're my relation or my enemy. Don't give up. Please, just don't.
Yeah.
So
it's good to post things like that is very good. Even if, I know for me, I mean, I don't post a lot of personal stuff. For me, it's mainly work stuff. But when I do post something positive, or coming as I used to be an athlete, I used to have it pounded into my head every day by my swimming coaches and everything. Be positive. Winning's not everything, but it sure beats coming second, and all this kind of stuff. But it also, when you're feeling down, and like what Dean does, and he posts something positive, Dean, I'm sure it makes you feel good. It's like you're reminding yourself, about
totally
that. It's very good
to myself.
keep telling it to people, but you're actually telling yourself, which is, it's brilliant. It's great because you're helping yourself and everyone else.
Yeah. Well, my favorite.
What I need to hear, truly, and so I post that. Sorry for interrupting.
It's like affirmations, it's affirmations, which is great.
One of my favorite posts is something that you posted this morning or earlier. It's be gentle with yourself. You're doing the best you can, and we always forget that we are doing the best that we can, and we sometimes trip over our own words, and forget that we're here, we're doing it. So we have to be easier on each other, and especially ourselves, that I'm here, I showed up. So right.
You show courage, and you're asking good questions, and and you're I hope absorbing the answers, because it's not only Cliff and I who are answering them, it's your peers, everyone around us here answering.
And Laura, too, you actually bring a lot of positivity and a lot of stuff to a lot of different artists as well, too. So don't ever think that you don't light someone's path as well.
I try. I try, because the reason I do that is because I know my own struggle. Every single day I say, what are you doing? You are living a pipe dream. Every single day I say, this is the best job in the whole entire world. Every single day. So every day I'm battling my demons and I'm living my dream. So, I mean, I have the best and worst of both worlds. So, but I don't really actually know a single creative person, whatever their artistry is, that doesn't struggle like that every single day, right? I mean, we've got this little, it might just be one word that is negative, or one word that is positive. It doesn't matter. We get both sides every single day, and it's how we fight the negative with how much positive we put in there. And that's what makes us wake up the next day and keep doing it, right? And go back to it.
Yeah, I've been doing that all my life. That's what I do. It's when you're working, it's the best job in the world. When you're not working, it's the worst job in the world.
It is, because when this pandemic started, I had just got. I'm sorry. When this pandemic started, I had just finished the last short film that I was on. And it was so amazing because it was so cathartic. It was about walking away from a belief for a belief,
right,
or something like that. Anyway, it's not out there, but it's going to go to festivals and stuff like that. Anyway, so I just got off of that and I started to do some light work on set. I've never been. I've done a little bit of crafty. I've always done acting and some background. But I never did anything on set before, and I started to do stuff on set, and then this whole pandemic hit, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm just starting something just to get a little bit bigger picture of other people's jobs and what it's like to be crew instead of talent, you know what I mean? And that's where I stayed in the house. I went out for a couple of weeks delivering food for people, and that made me feel good. But then I started to get iron deficient, so my energy wasn't high because I was stressing out and I was trying to do everything that I could for everybody else and forgetting about myself. And then I just shut myself in. Like, I go to the grocery store and I line up for 20 minutes to get into the grocery store, and that's pretty much it. So
it's traumatic. It's traumatic.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning and I'm thinking, I've got to push myself. I've got to, start memorizing those lines to do my self tapes or to do something. And so I'm just trying to push myself back to where I was, right?
You're here today, so that's a start.
You gotta not pick up the energy of everybody out there, because I'm more scared of people than I am of any pandemic, of any animal or anything like that. Because once people start panicking and you get wrapped up in that, there's nothing worse. I mean, where I live here, people were lining up outside the gun shops because all of a sudden they decided, I need a gun. Why do you need a gun? What? Someone's going to come steal the toilet paper? But it's this mass panic and this mass fear. And you mustn't just not let yourself, yes, in the beginning, we're all caught up in it, but you got to pull out of it and not panic, because panic is the worst situation people can get into. As long as you're healthy and you don't have COVID-19 right now, there really is nothing to worry about, right? There's nothing to worry about.
For me, it's not that so much I was panicking. because I'm still not panicking. What I'm doing is I'm having human withdrawal. You know, I got tired of hearing everybody panicking, and it was too much. It's like, why are you? It was like somebody putting poison in you, right? It was too much. I couldn't hear, because I have a very analytical thought process, and for me, I couldn't even grasp why everyone was panicking. I still don't, because it's still logically not a panic situation.
Laura,
But for me, it's a human thing.
They're bombing you with all this information. The media is going to try to make the worst of everything because it sells.
It's
Don't worry
Yeah,
about
of course, yeah.
Don't worry about that.
You know, they create the fear. The press create fear, and that creates panic.
Yeah.
And it's just like you just keep everything in perspective. But it's quite funny because, like, I don't need people to be creative. I'm one of those loner kind of guys. I'd be the guy sitting in the cave and becoming creative all on my own. Like, I don't need, but you obviously do, which is fine. I don't need human interaction to become creative. I actually become more creative on my own. That's why I've been working so much on my show that came out in Europe this year. Like, that's just my thing. I'm on my own. It's my thing. No, I don't need a whole crowd. So take it easy. But
buddy.
it's interesting.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, you son of a
buddy.
Is that the one clip that you were filming in Hawaii when I saw you last?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's out in Europe now? When is it supposed to come out in the US? Is it out?
It's supposed, no, it's not out. It's coming out, we've been told, November.
Okay.
I'm not really allowed to say what channel yet, but we kind of know. But they didn't want me to push it because it might change. But it'll be November time. It's a little bit late, but I'm glad it's late, because if it came out earlier in the year now and we had to go and shoot season,
would have gotten lost.
we wouldn't, and we wouldn't be able to shoot season 2 anyway now.
Yeah.
So we'll probably start, hopefully, if everything going well, we'll start shooting season 2 in January, and then we'll be caught up, you know? So it was released in Europe. It did pretty well, you know? I got some good feedback, but it's the telling is when it's got to air here in the US and Canada.
So in the U.S., it's called Uncharted Mysteries, and it's
No,
kind of
in the US, it's called Into the Unknown. In Europe, it's called Uncharted Mysteries.
Okay. And what is, it's sort of a cross between your adventure and paranormal. What is that?
That's right. It's an investigative paranormal adventure show. So it's not just about me being in an area investigating paranormal activity. It's about getting to that area, because a lot of the places I go to are extremely remote. Like, we're hiking for 3 or 4 hours or climbing a mountain to get to these areas where things have been spotted. And it's tough. I mean, it's a very physically demanding show.
I saw some of it. Yeah, the clips are wonderful, Cliff.
Yeah,
You've been working hard. Yeah.
I mean, there was times when I was shooting that, I was like, man, guys, some of this is tougher than when I was in the military. I've got to tell you, like, you know, climbing Mount Shasta at 8,000 feet was insane. I'm not a mountain climber, but hey, I'll try it. You know, but it was insane. But it makes it so much better when I mean, the footage we got is so amazing. Even, you know, what's not even seen, which one day hopefully will come out in behind the scenes stuff. We got such amazing footage, and it's places I've never seen and experienced, and people, like in the middle of Louisiana in the swamps. It's like insanely dangerous. I don't even want to go visit there again. But yeah, just an amazing show. So yeah, hopefully, you know, the US will see it later this year, and then we'll do season 2. It's a lot of fun.
Cliff, is that something that always interested you, to go to these like mysterious places where there could be creatures or some sort of paranormal thing?
Yeah, I've always been interested in paranormal. I had a few experiences when I was younger. You know, I've seen things and I've experienced things which I believe are real. And I had, you know, my mom and both my parents actually used to study like science of mind and all that kind of stuff. Not into UFOs or anything like that, but more into the science of mind and telepathy and all that kind of stuff. So as a little boy, I was introduced to that, and I used to read some of their books they had. And then this opportunity came up 4 years ago where I was approached because of who I am or whatever, and what I do. And I jumped at it, yeah. So it took 4 years for this particular show to get off the ground. and be picked
Oh,
up
wow.
and greenlit. So yeah, it's totally my thing. I've always wanted to do like Discovery Channel hosting shows, adventure shows, like let's go to the Amazon for 2 weeks and film the tribes. Like that would be my ideal kind of work. Yep.
Cliff,
Yes,
have
Mom.
you done anything with the Great Zimbabwe or going to Timvabadi?
No, but we definitely, I've already spoken to them about season 2. I want to go do the Skeleton Coast up to
Okay.
Cape. Up the west coast of Africa. It's all the old diamond mining areas. And there's a lot of weird stuff that I've visited there once. It's where the desert meets the ocean. And then there's another story in South Africa called the White Lady, which is a caveman drawing, which is something like 10,000 years old or something. It's a drawing of a white woman with long hair in a cave in the middle of the desert 10,000 years ago in Africa. So who was this? You know, so that's something like that's good to investigate and see what it is, because you know we think that there could be some kind of alien connections or what is it? So there's a lot of stuff that goes on there, and we definitely want to do Africa. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on there. So hopefully, as the seasons go and the budget grows, if it grows, then we can get overseas, because I have a small crew. It's myself and 4 guys or 5 guys. That's it. So there's 6 of us, and my crew do everything I do, and then we're in competition with each other because they're all in their 30s. Yeah. So if they're climbing a wall and a cliff or crossing a river, I got to do it. Or if I'm doing it, they got to do it, because they got to prove to me that they can do it, and they're not going to let the 57-year-old dude beat them. That's a great. So it's a good team. Because we push each other. So they're great guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that
So
goes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna just ask. So did you, Dean and Cliff, meet on Stargate, or did you know each other before, or?
That's where I met Cliff. Where did you meet me, Cliff?
I met you on Stargate. So I met him on set. Yeah, that was it. I hadn't seen him before, and I've seen him a lot since. So now, as usual, all the actors, we all bump into each other at conventions, which is great. And so every couple of years, we're bumping into people we haven't seen for many years. You get kind of the regular guys, and then you get people that show up every now and then. So it's nice. I mean, that's how we stay in contact now.
Sure is. Yeah, but that's when we first met, and yeah, I've had the privilege of continuing a relationship with Cliff ever since. Based on Stargate, but also some of the mutual things that we're involved in. I've mentored you in many different ways, Cliff, just based on how you were working on that show and how you greeted me, how you welcomed me and didn't in any way, shape, or form judge my performance or any of those things. Man, you made me so welcome, and you helped me shine. I'll forever be grateful, and will continue to be your friend because of it.
Awesome, right? Well, thank you for that. That means a lot to me. Yeah, I would never judge anyone on anything. I don't do that. So thank you. That's cool.
Val did, but not you.
I'm just a big believer in anything in my daily life and my work life. It's like treat people how you want to be treated, and that's it. It's so simple. It's so simple.
It's so simple. That's true.
Right?
That is very true.
Yeah.
It's so
If it
simple.
could just be like that, everybody would be comfortable with each other the whole time. Like I don't understand people who aren't like that. And I see it, Laura, in our industry, we see it a lot. Where people are really rude to people, and I've seen it in front of my face, and I've said things to them, and I'm just like, dude, it's just that's what I'm saying about this whole thing we're involved in now. Hopefully it changes people's minds. Hopefully it makes people realize what's important,
Yeah. What we value.
This is the first time we've all been together as human beings, not as Americans or
Exactly,
English
because
people or Scottish people, or we're all human beings. And that's what's so amazing, because at the moment there's like no borders. We're all talking to each other. We're all in the exact same situation. Because normally when things like this happen, oh, there's a virus in China. Oh, well, who cares? I'm sitting in the United States. But now all of a sudden, everyone's together as human beings. It's a big deal. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not races, it's human race.
Correct. Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Yes, exactly.
I had a conversation
Pushing
with
us
my
together instead of pulling us apart.
Yeah.
right. I had a conversation 3 weeks ago with my daughter. I went to see her in person, and I told her, out of this, if we learn anything, we have to take away at least one thing, is that who we are and what we do affects other people exponentially, and that we have to always think of others before we think of ourselves, and that's how this whole thing got started, is people not thinking of what they do and how it will affect someone else. We always have to think of how we affect other people, because in essence it affects us right back. So it all comes back, right?
Yeah. That golden rule really applies in all of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. That's the one I remember.
Exactly.
I got one for Dean real quick.
Yes, Michael?
Yeah, just I saw your short on the Spirit Indian or whatever it was. It was
Half-breed.
with the big
Half-breed.
finish. It was all good. It's like about 7-10 minutes or something. Were
Yes,
you
sir.
planning? Were you thinking of expanding on that at the time? It was impressive.
Oh, thank you. No, I wasn't thinking of expanding on it at the time. In fact, at the time, I was somewhat convalescing, if you will, from my having fallen off a roof, and that was when I needed to really call upon my friends and my cohorts to keep me from going insane, and I truly at that point in time was in total need of what I hear Lara talking about.
Well, I was
which
thinking of that too.
Yeah, which was, just sharing that spirit of my being and a story, and that's something that means something to me. Yeah, and so that's the actual, that's the manifestation of that. And thank you for mentioning it, Michael.
Sure.
Does
So I have one for you, Dean.
Yes, sir.
I'd asked you before in one panel, and I'm not sure. I don't think we ever actually got around to finish talking about it. But is Mr. Somebody going to be taken into like a full series, or because you and Gary Chalk were awesome in that?
Wasn't Gary lovely? He's so layered. He's so layered. I'm open to many things with that. It's just I found that when I wanted to expand on it, the original creators had decided that they wanted to go in another direction with the same idea, and because it was his, I of course don't want to infringe. So maybe we'll have to do something else, or maybe we can get the original creators to step up again. We'll see.
That's awesome. I think it would be a great series.
Oh, thank you very much. I liked the storyline, the premise. It's not so far in the future. It's just a little bit. It deals with eco. That like our days are nights, our nights are days. Do you know what I mean? And that we're working during the night because it's cool enough. We have to stay out of the sunlight. The ultraviolet light has pretty much damaged everybody and everything, and so we're changing our whole lives around. So it kind of, in some ways, becomes prophetic. With yeah. So yeah, it's kind of scary, but it's kind of super cool too. Yeah.
Well, Cliff, are we allowed to ask about the book, Almithia and Grey Paw and that kind of?
Oh, wow. Jeez, I completely forgot about that. So, no, thank you for asking about that, of course, because I'm hoping they might actually be online here. No, sure, you can ask about it. Almithia is it's a huge franchise so far. It's a series of books that are being written, broken down from, I think, 6 books into 3 films. We have the first script out now. A huge fantasy movie. My character that they would like me to play is called Grey Paw. He's like an Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's a master. He teaches the younger warrior how to beat the bad guys, which is a fantastic character because he's not really a good guy, but he's not really a bad guy. He dresses in the most amazing animal skins. He's got wolf print tattoos across his body. He carries a big staff, and he conjures up these beautiful wolves, these huge, one white one and one black one, which he can actually ride on them. So it's that kind of movie. It's tons and tons of CGI. It's a big budget. It's a top budget movie. You know, it's way up there in like the $50 million range. So of course, it takes many, many years to get this going, but that's the role they've offered me. And my character will be in all 3 of the films and is a lead character. Produced by Lynn Santa. We have some amazing people here in LA. Peter Findlay working on it, these are ex-executives of big networks. We've got amazing writers. So yeah, I mean, the more you guys, watch the social media, we're really hoping to start shooting in 2021. And we'll probably shoot in Australia or New Zealand because it's just, that place, it just calls for those kind of movies. The terrain and everything is amazing. And they got great crews out there, and most of the production people will be out that side. So yeah, fantastic production. AJ Coots is the writer. He's already started, I think, writing the 2nd book. I went over last year to launch the 1st book at Supernova in Australia and a few other private events. So yeah, it's a big deal. I'm just keeping fingers crossed this all happens. It's one of those things you try not to get too excited about because, Laura, as you know, once you, if they shelve the whole thing, it'll be like, but you can't be like that. You can't just got to let it go. It's at the moment, everything's looking positive. We got the right people on board. We got the right script writers, the right book, the right production. Everything's good. So it's just a matter of getting the financing together.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remembered everyone's name. Well done.
Well, I know you've done some events for that overseas, and we're waiting for you to be able to come to to do some in the United States here. So we are going to have some fun with that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what? Once this is a go, for sure we'll all be out at Comic-Con, and because that's of course the best place to launch anything. And then throughout the country wherever we can, for sure. Sure, it's going to be.
Yeah. You're in the UK too, Cliff?
Sorry, say again.
At the UK too, be over in the
Yes.
UK.
Europe too, please. Europe too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the big places, like as you guys know from all the Stargate conventions, our biggest fan bases and viewerships and everything are all Germany, the UK, and Australia. Those are the 3 places. The UK and Germany and France. Sorry, I forgot France. But those 3 countries in Europe that's got 90% of our fans and viewers. So we'll definitely be bringing stuff out that way to all conventions if we can, for sure.
I love Brilliant.
And also for my show, Into the Unknown, I'm hoping, that's getting more into the paranormal side. And I know there's a ton of paranormal conventions that they have. So I'm hoping to get involved in those as well. So if ever you guys hear of a paranormal convention that I'm at, it's because of my show. So, please come along and say hi. It's the same kind of...
You can come to any X-Files one.
What's
that? You can come with me to the X-Files ones, bud.
Yeah.
I would if it was X-Files, I would. But yeah. So we'll see.
Cliff, is there a reason that they call a show by one name in Europe and another in the States?
You know what? It's so strange. So when I was shooting, I had to do some publicity stuff like join me tonight on History Channel for Uncharted Mysteries, Cliff Simon, blah, blah, blah. And I went to the director. I'm like, why am I saying Uncharted Mysteries? The show's called Into the Unknown. Have they changed the name? And he's like, oh, that's what they're calling it in Europe. And it's just what they do. For some reason, it's kind of like cars. In the United States, a vehicle that comes out here, like a Chevy Tahoe, will appeal to American people because of the name Tahoe. In the UK, they'll call it a Chevy, whatever.
It's all marketing.
Yeah, it's all marketing and how the local people think about it. So it's kind of weird. I mean, I like both names. Into the Unknown was our original title for the show. Uncharted Mysteries was thought up by the people above us, put it that way, which is fine. It's a great name as well, you know. But I don't know the real reason, but all I can think of is it's the same as the way they change car names. It appeals to that culture. Yeah.
Culture. That's right. I think it's all based on culture and what's accepted and more
Or it could also be there's another show with the similar sort of, yeah.
Yeah, there could be another show like it.
Yeah.
Exactly,
With
as
similar
well.
sort of sounding
I think it's-
name.
And there is, I mean, if you look on, I think it's Travel or on Discovery, there's a show called The Unknown. And there's another show, which is kind of new as well, called Beyond the Unknown. And here comes mine, Into the Unknown. So they can, so that's
too much.
Yeah.
It's not unknown anymore. It's well known.
Yeah, exactly. It's not enough. Anyway, there's tons of reasons, but it's not, you know, it's the networks and the people who broadcast that stuff that make those decisions because they know what's best.
So one question about that, when it does come to the US, is there a station that's already planned? Like the Travel Channel, I know has so many shows like it already, or the Discovery Channel, or
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'll tell you. So yeah, it's a Travel Channel show.
yeah.
The reason they didn't really want me to start to promote it too much is that at the end of the day, it could switch over to Discovery Channel.
Or the History Channel.
Because yeah, it's all owned by Discovery. Discovery has an umbrella of, it's A&E Networks, which own History, Discovery, Travel, HGTV. So it could go anywhere that they decide they want it to go. So they didn't want us to push it too much. But yes, it's the Travel Channel were the people who greenlit the show originally.
Okay.
And they're all partly owned by Disney.
May I ask a question?
Probably.
Like, it's like having a look into this and it's like, oh, really? Disney owns this many different stations? Who knew?
Yeah, crazy, huh? Crazy.
Cliff, have you ever been interested in producing?
I have been, for sure. For sure. I do enjoy the business side of the industry as well. I find it very interesting. And I've spoken to a lot of people. And of course, you know, I know Mike Greenberg pretty well. It's tough, but I'm still at the stage where I still enjoy being in front of the camera. I still feel that's where I need to be right now. It's kind of like directing. That hasn't excited me enough yet to want to direct. But I mean, my show, you know, the show I'm doing here, it's kind of collaborative. The way we, you know, of course, I have a great director on the show. He's a Canadian guy, great guy, very experienced in reality. But a lot of times we discuss between ourselves, okay, that's not working, let's do this. So I'm starting to get more into that. And maybe down the road, I direct myself in these shows. I don't know. But yeah, at the moment, I still like being in front of the camera.
You've got your bug first to take care of.
Yeah, when I'm sick of being in front of the camera and I just want to do the business side, I'll do it. I think
that's fair. So yeah, because it might split your focus. I understand that. Yeah, I certainly find myself.
I think as a there's a lot of producers. As a director actor, that's possible. I don't think it's really possible to be a producer and an actor on the same show. That's a whole different.
I think it's really hard.
Yeah, you know, as a director, you're on set. As a producer, you're not on set. You've got nothing to do with what's going on set. You run the business, you leave it up to the director. The director's the boss. So those two can work together. I just don't think acting and producing can work together. We'll see one day. I mean, my dad was a businessman, so I do have it in me. I find it interesting. I like the idea of how they raise finances and the negotiations and getting this going. And but at the moment, it's not for me. I'm still having fun when I work. Yeah. When I stop having fun, that's when you got to give it up, you know?
Hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Dean, you have a project that's in post-production, I think, called The Forefathers, about experiences of...
It's in pre-production, actually, which it's about, it's a detective that he gets injured, and it almost basically rounds out to being somewhat of a heist film. It's very well written, and the producers have decided to film it in 3 different segments and air it on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
And
cool.
And isn't it directed by Ian Nasinga? Is that correct?
I believe that's the case. Yes, Ian David
Okay.
Masinga. Yeah.
And then also, just so everyone knows, I'm sorry to have to do this, but we are about 10 minutes from our next chat, guys. You can all log back in if you like. It's going to be Vanessa Angel and Musetta Vander. They're going to be on the next chat. And then also, just so everyone knows, we are updating the website. It will have all these events by tomorrow. They should be posted to the website so you can go and watch. And we are also releasing a new YouTube channel with all the videos as well, so that you can go to the Collaboration Comic Convention channel and see these again. Also, there is a Patreon account which you can support. That goes to a COVID-19 United Way Fund for quarantine, and also to support the guests for being featured. So I just wanted to say that. And then if there's any final questions, please feel free to ask, because we're going to have to close this out. Sorry, guys.
Anything
Cliff,
else?
Cliff, I actually have one question. As a former swim mom, getting up at 4 o'clock, taking my son to swimming, what was your stroke?
Breaststroke and butterfly.
Just like my son. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My poor mom used to get up at 4 o'clock in the mornings.
Oh, yeah.
Until I was 16 years old and living in London, and I could buy my car for £100 and I could drive myself to training. I think that was the best day of her life. But
When my son turned 16, we handed him a car. That was it. Here, you can drive yourself.
Yay to all you swimming moms. Yeah.
That a swimmer mom sounds like hockey mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing, Anna, are we doing anything else today?
Who are you asking?
Am I needed for anything else today? I was a bit confused. I thought there was something else going on.
No, we
Okay.
so appreciate having you on, Cliff. Thank you so much for coming. Oops,
You're welcome.
I lost
This is
video
really
here,
nice.
guys. Just a moment.
Yeah, really good.
Here we are.
Thank
Yes, thank you, Anna, for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
See you.
guys.
Bye.
All of you.
Bye-bye.
Love
Everybody
you.
stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Stay well. Stay safe.
Bye.